Great Grace is back again with more real life story. Please stay to the end because this is huge. Because it's my big C and my big C. I'm going to ask you some few questions. And first of all, before that, what is your name?
My name is Simon C. Kachat.
C. Can I call you C?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, thank you so much. So I just have 5 questions for you, and it's not going to take long because I want to, talk about some few real life stuff and give advice to the young ones out there. So number 1 is, what was your favorite childhood memory? Like your favorite childhood memory?
Well, I have a couple of very beautiful childhood memory. Because of where I grew, actually I didn't grow in a very tuition place. I grew up in the outskirts. So for me, I think I had the privilege to have the fun that I wanted to have as a child. But for me, among the many things that I was able to enjoy growing up, I think one of the things that stood out for me was always leaving school before closing hour. To go to the bush, because my school was somewhere, we had a lot of bush around. So I also had a squad that would always leave on Friday before closing hour, and we go into the bush to explore, getting all kinds of fruits from monkey blockers to wild mango and all of that, jumping from one tree to the other. I remember one of those occasions, we all missed our way and we were stranded in the bush. I remember we were all crying to find our way out of the bush and we couldn't find our way. Luckily for us, we ran into this old woman who helped us find our way back home. So it's a whole lot though, but I have a whole lot of beautiful memory. But for me, Friday was one of the days I always looked out for. It's half day, so I get to do a lot of playing around before going back home. Yeah, so that's just that for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you're among the stubborn children. That used to stay in school.
Yes, something like that.
I remember when we would just leave the class and go and be stealing people's mangoes, stealing people's cashew. There's one old man always carrying stick and be pursuing us. Number 2 is, what was the biggest challenge you faced growing up and how did you overcome it? The biggest challenge you faced while growing up?
Okay, for me, I would say one of my biggest challenge was being bullied for being a big girl, because I've always been big, right? So for me, I think that's one of my biggest challenge, that I got bullied for being big and all. But I had to come to that point in my life where I told myself that this is me and I accept me and I love me, but it took a whole lot. Prior to that time, it was a big challenge for me generally. So yes.
So how did you now overcome those challenges?
I think for some years, I actually struggled with the issue of self-esteem, right? Because it made me feel like I was weird for being who I was, because in my family, I happen to be the big person. My father is big, but among my siblings, they are all the average size and the normal small size people. But I was different. So it posed a whole lot of pressure on me growing up as a child. And for a while, I didn't feel like I could actually fit in to the standard of what beauty is for the society, right? But I think over time, I came to discover that this is me and I have to love me. So it was a self-discovery journey generally for me, and I'm happy that I found myself in the midst of what would have made me to go into a place of hiding. And I'm proud to be who I am, of course.
And you're such a fine girl. So what advice will you give to those who are in this kind of situation? Because I know some people are in such situation and they are killing themselves because of their body, the way they are, and all that.
Alright, so my advice for people who find themselves in a place where socially they are made to feel like they do not fit in, one of the biggest things you must do for yourself is to accept yourself. You must love yourself. You must understand that you're unique in your own way, right? And then you must also come to terms with the fact that this is who God actually wanted you to be, because I believe that personally we are designed differently because of the uniqueness of our assignment. I tell people, I say it wouldn't have taken God anything to make us all to be having, have the same body size, have the same face, have the same size. I would say the way I normally say, I would say maybe it would have taken less material to produce everybody if we had a mass production setting that everyone has to fit into. But because of the uniqueness of your assignment, I think God designs us differently. And until we come to that point where we understand that we are unique in our own way, we will keep on trying to fit in. The sad part of it is you would never be able to fit into what you think that is the ideal or the perfect person that you want to be. So it starts with you accepting you, loving you, and knowing that you are unique and you're God's masterpiece. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, I am unique. I'm beautiful. I am the most beautiful being I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So you don't concern me. If you like, don't accept yourself. Me, I have accepted myself. If I just learn something, accept yourself.
Yeah.
You are unique. God designed you according to the purpose, the plans He has given you.
Sure.
So stop beating yourself. You know. Thank you so much, sis. I love that. All right. Number 3. What was the most important lesson you learned from your parents or guidance?
Okay, I am privileged to be raised in a home that is good. But for me, a lot of things I've learned that I practice today that is drawn from the place where I came from. But for me, one of the biggest lessons I've learned in life from my parents is contentment and working hard. So I watch my parents live within their means. And one of the biggest things that I've learned that has guided me through my journey in life is whatever I cannot afford now, I do not need it. So I do not operate in whatever way from a place of pressure of wanting to have what I cannot have or what I cannot have from a place of convenience. So for me, that's one of the biggest life lessons that I've learned that has guided me going through life generally. So I believe that that's one of the biggest things that my parents have given to me. And of course, the another thing that I think stands out for me from the things I've learned from my parents is, having a personal relationship with God. I've watched them for at least 30 years of their lives wake us every single morning by 5 a.m. to do our family devotion. So that has shaped me. Even now that I'm an adult, sometimes I have my own place where I stay. Sometimes I want to sleep till 7. But somehow it has been registered in my subconsciousness that once it's 5 a.m. I have to be up, whether I like it or not. Now, I do it from a place of knowing that, before I do it from a place of doing it as a chore or a family duty, but I have moved from that place now knowing that it's important that I have a personal relationship with God. And that started when I was 5. That was when we started morning. I don't remember a day for the past 30 years living with my parents that we woke up in the morning and there was no morning devotion.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
Wow. That's very beautiful. Alright, number 4 is, if you could go back in time and give advice to your childhood self, what would it be? Like, imagine there's a magic somewhere and you just see yourself as a child. Z is here as a child. What advice would you give yourself?
That's a very big question, right? What's that one advice I would have given to my childhood self if I had the chance to? Maybe take some more opportunities. Do the things that I feared the most. Because I think growing up, once things get tough, I'm someone that would run or I do stuff and then drop them halfway. So I think one of the things I would do differently is to take more risks. But of course, I'm still young and I have time. So when I say I have time, I'm talking from the place of knowing that I can still catch up with a whole lot of stuff, right? But if I were to go back in time, I would take some more risks. I'll explore some new things.
Explore some new things. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that is beautiful. So our last question is, how did your childhood shape who you are today as Zika
Well, I would say that my childhood played a whole lot of role when it comes to who I am today. I think growing in the environment that I grew up helped me to continue some mistakes that I naturally would have made if I didn't have the guidance that I had. Now, I'm just this kind of child that always had a mind of my own. I had some things I wanted to do, right? But my mom was this person who was forceful, and she would always sometimes even force me to do what I naturally wouldn't do. Growing up, I'm somebody that don't say sorry.
Oh, wow.
I would rather cry than say sorry to you.
Wow.
It feels like you want to take me home than for me to say sorry to you, right? So it was a whole lot. But I grew up in a house where you must say excuse me before you knock into any door in the house, and then you must say thank you, and then you must say I am sorry. You don't just say sorry.
I am sorry.
Yes. So growing up, sometimes I would cry when my father would say apologize to your sister. I would cry. He said when you finish crying, come back and still say sorry. So I think a whole lot when it comes to who I am today. My childhood experience helped me to be the person that I am today. Of course, I'm not taking away the place of personal development or the place where I've been worshiping or the mentors that have been of great help to me. But of course, my family sets the foundation for every other thing that I'm doing today. Yes, and I got support from them.
Aww. So what advice would you give to the young ones growing up before we close this section?
Okay, I know some persons may naturally not be privileged to have parents who would help you, because I believe people act based on the level of the knowledge that they have. But once you grow up and you discover that maybe you were not fortunate to be raised in a good environment, you must intentionally work towards improving on yourself. I learned that life generally is what it is for us based on the perspective that we see it. I saw an illustration some years back of a man poured water into a cup and it was half. And he called to people and asked them, "What do you see?" One of them said, "The cup is half full." The other said, "The cup is half empty." So I discovered that what forms our core is not necessarily the situation around us. It depends on what we decide to make with the experiences that we have. And wherever you're born there specially because God has an assignment for you. So it doesn't matter what you're going through. I would say look at whatever that you're going through and ask yourself, what can I make out of this that will positively help me, and secondly impact my world. I think that's just that.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching today. And don't forget to like, share, and comment. More stories, more reels are coming to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sis. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.